Hello, it's May coming at you with another Planet Coaster episode. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the video and welcome to episode 3 of Eden Springs. Now guys, I need to be honest with you. I found myself this last week really worrying because I realised that this park and this series is extremely similar to Eden Gardens, and I'm just putting out the same content all over again. But then, if it works for What Culture, it'll work for me, so it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. So last week we built our farmhouse. In between episodes I've done a lot more paint tool, so I thought what I would do before we get into the build is just have a zoom around the park and let's have a look, shall we? So before we start building in today's episode, which, spoiler alert, is a train station, but I guess you already all knew that given the fact that you've seen the thumbnail and clicked on the video. But in between episodes I've just been around the park, just utilising that paint tool once again, having the absolute time of my life with Paint Tool Simulator 2022 once again, and just really playing around with the terrain features, really making this park come to life. And then just as we come down here, this has got to be one of my favourite sightlines in the entire park. Just them rolling hills, again using all that paint tool. One thing that I have done is I've gone around and added electric cables all around the park, so the farmhouse is connected to the electric. Again, just thinking of that realism. A little bit more fencing to do around here, so I'll need to come back and finish that off at some point. But as we work over here, I've also added the lake as well. It wasn't riveting content, you didn't need an episode of me building a water feature, but suffice to say, I had the absolute time of my life building the giant water feature and decorating it. I had the biggest smile on my face all the way around. I was sitting going, water feature, all the way around. So, and as we just have an elevated shot of the entire park, you can really see the size and the scope of this park and what it is that we're trying to do. Now as we pan the camera around, you may all be thinking, May, what's that great big hole in the floor? Well, you know what that great big hole in the floor is. Shall we just get into this build? Let's do it, shall we? So first of all, we need to drop the terrain for where we are wanting to go. And now with this hole in the floor, we can now start placing down our train tracks and trying to work out exactly where we want this train line to go. One thing that I really did want to do coming into this build is I didn't want to have the wood from the bottom of the train line in game showing. So what I did is I dropped it below the ground and then added my own beams instead. Huge thank you to Tommy P for this very cool little trick where you can put two trains inside each other of two different colours, and it gives this really nice effect of the bottom half being one colour and the top half being another. Absolutely invaluable tip, so thank you ever so much Tommy P for that. So now with a rough idea in mind of what it is that I'm doing, I can now lower the remaining terrain to match that lower level down there and where the train will actually go. With the train line now all in place, now I need to start putting the walls on either side and really start enclosing it. Now what kind of British railway would this be without some overhanging electric cables? I did this building a coaster support and some in-game scaffolding pieces. One of my closest friends said to me the other day, "Matty, I don't watch your YouTube because I'm not really interested in Planet Coaster." FYI, I'm no longer friends with that person. I don't need that kind of negativity in my life. With the electric cables now complete, we now need to move on to one of my favourite parts of the game. It's foliage time! I was having way too much fun placing the foliage down, and I almost forgot that I need to put a station down here somewhere that would have been most likely covered in foliage if I hadn't stopped what I was doing. So in the middle of a foliage session, I've now started placing a station down. So after having an ungodly nightmare for about 20 minutes, lots of shouting, lots of swearing, trying to get the end piece of the platform on, I realised I could have just used the roof tile pieces. And then I realised I didn't like the station that I'd chosen, so I got that in the bin and replaced it with another roof tile piece that was a little bit better, in my opinion. I think so at least. Now, it has been brought to my attention by more than one person that apparently my style is quite similar to that of another YouTuber. I know, I was mortified when I heard that. Moomin Tiny Shoes, or it was something like that, I can't remember, but I was absolutely distraught. I can't believe that. I'm so sorry guys, my lawyers will be in touch with him so he stops copying me, so you don't need to worry yourselves, alright? Now what would a British railway platform be without a giant tacky sign announcing where you are? Now originally my idea for this park is it was going to be based off my actual hometown, but when I started I very quickly realised that that was going to be an impossible task, purely because the game does not have enough graffiti, broken bottles and drunk animatronics stood outside Wetherspoons shouting obscenities at you. So instead, we're going to have to make do with Cheadleton. Sorry about that, guys. So as we continue decorating this station, we just need some kind of covering. I did this using the roof tile pieces and then some upside down fencing placed inside with some beams coming down to support it. we're going to need somewhere for these guests to sit down. So using some of the benches that I made for the previous park, I just placed some of these down on the station as well. Now what you haven't seen is me spending 3 hours building this bloody bridge because it was completely easy and went exactly where I wanted it to go. Stupid game. So, as we approach the end of this video, we're just putting the final few touches to this train station. The train station is available on the PlayStation Workshop for anybody that wants to download it. But thank you everybody who's joined for this video. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Enjoy the cinematics at the end, everybody. Take care, stay safe, look after yourselves, and I shall see you next week for episode 4. Bye, everybody!